Welcome to the No Name MMA Show. This is your MMA roundup for June 22nd. My name is Motivated Andy, and this is the news you need to know today in the world of combat sports. First, let's start talking about this drama between Isreal Adesanya and Robert Whitaker that started with an interview with that started with an interview in the Daily Telegraph where Robert says that, and quote, but I think his loss to John, followed by his average performance against Vittori, it just confirms that he isn't as untouchable as everyone thinks. I'll go ahead and just play devil's advocate for shits and giggles. Bobby Knuckles is right. Izzy is not a god, in the words of the great mystic Daddy Juan. Uh, everybody can get got. Izzy did lose his last fight, and he is correct. He did not finish Marvin Vittori. In fact, if you would really want to say something, controversial or whatever, you can say that Izzy is the proud owner of the only two non-finished title fights this year. Look it up. Everybody else has been finished except for him against John, and also him against Marvin Vittori. But yeah, is that really is that the worst thing that we can really think of? Here's the rebuttal. Adesanya lost to that fighter and was lost to John Blachowicz, who is a heavier fighter and also highly, in all caps, just so everybody can hear me in the back, a highly underrated fighter in his own right. I mean, come on, look what he did to Dominic Reyes. We're really gonna be talking shit about John Blachowicz now, and he followed the game plan to the T. And I don't know if that result is the same if we see them fight 3 times, especially when Izzy wasn't even trying to gain weight for them. Let's be completely realistic. Uh, Israel should have been underdog for that. I don't know why he was, or why he was favorite. I understand why, but the pound differential I think is the thing that makes the most sense in terms of not betting with them. Yeah, and he didn't get the KO against Martin Vittori, but he did everything else. I mean, that was a masterclass. In no round, at no time, did Izzy look in danger, even when Vittori had his back and had him almost in that rear naked choke. He just switched the position and was on top. That's the craziness. And you know, he didn't get that KO, but you know who he got a KO against? You know what? I just won't even say it. Uh, One thing that I'll give Robert Whitaker is that he has confidence, but another thing is going into this fight with Isreal Adesanya again and underestimating him. Uh, the guy pretty much had his way with you. I mean, come on. In all fairness, I don't even think Rob meant it the way it sounded, even though the Telegraph interview pretty much read like Robert's coming after Izzy like that, which that's an editorial note. But if Robert had any kind of way, he felt any kind of way about how it was coming off, Robert would have come out and said something about it. He would have been like, "Hey, you know what? This is like a full-on attack. I was just making comments." But him saying that performance was impressive against a top-tier fighter, I mean, come on, dude. And I love Rob. I really do. He's one of the few fighters that I actually genuinely vibe with. I think if it were between me and Izzy getting a beer or me and Rob getting a beer after a long hard work week, I'm picking Rob every single time. I think if I'm doing it up in Las Vegas, Izzy's the way to go. But for any other time, I'm hanging out with Rob. I'm playing Doom with Rob. Come on. And Rob did put on 2 masterclasses against Jared Cannonier and Kelvin Gastelum. But forget those last 2 matches. Forget the last 2 matches for Izzy. Guess what? He's the one who knocked you out in the second round in the beginning. That's after what he did to you in the first round. Bro, come on, man. It's hard to be at bat for Rob when he's saying kind of scandalous shit. You know what? Read the interview, read the daily intergraph thing. Let me know how you think down below. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. We are talking about Giga Chikadze calling out Yair Rodriguez, saying that he had received a call from the UFC to replace the injured Max Holloway for the July 17th bout. Talking about bad looks, if this is true, he's saying that the UFC called him to reach out to try to replace, and Yair has not accepted. Homie has not fought for 20 months. His last fight was October 19th, 2019. So more than a year and a half. It's absurd. Why is he ranked? Does he want to fight? What are we doing here? He has a USADA violation. Not that there's anything worth noting for USADA, but come on, you can't even do that shit, bro. Whatever shred of confidence or respect or anything I had for Yair Rodriguez, it's gone out the fucking door. And I'm a Mexican American. I'm supposed to be rooting for that dude. Like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. Absurd. Absurd. Anyway, I'm gonna move on because I'm just gonna get heated over Yair Rodriguez being ranked. Anyway, while being interviewed this week, we'll go ahead and move on to Matt Brown. He said that he is hoping to his next fight being against either one of three people: Damian Maia, Robbie Lawler, or Donald Cerrone. All of three which he has a loss against, so this will all be a rematch for him to get one back. And if I can say so, I fuck with all these choices. I think Damian Maia, that thing's not going to happen. Damian Maia ran his course. Robbie Lawler, I think, is going to be an excellent matchup for Matt Brown. Robbie Lawler, it's kind of like that one thing where like they're all just kind of staring into the headlights like a deer. But I think it would be an excellent fight. And then Donald Cerrone, please don't accept that fight. That's crazy. I'm telling Donald Cerrone, don't fight against a 40-year-old. Matt Brown will punish you. Like, don't. Please, don't. Go back to 155. Don't go to 170. Don't. Like, holy shit. Yeah. Dana, if you listen to this, which you do, I know you do. After Matt Brown is done fighting, go ahead and recruit him for matchmaking because holy fuck, I fuck with everything that he has just said. Anyway, that is it for the news you need to know today in combat sports and in MMA. Talk to you tomorrow. Let me know what you think. Am I out of pocket with the Rob comments? Is there an argument to be made for Yair? Would anybody else like to see Matt Brown face, Donald Cerrone? Like, no, right? But, I mean, shit, let me know. Anyway, comment, like, share, invest in your mental health, and as always, fuck you, John Jones. Podcast tomorrow. Later.